Everybody, how you doing? Hope you're having a great weekend. I'm going to get out a video this weekend just to quickly give some thoughts on the market and then to look at some setups I have my eye on for next week. So here's the SPY S&P 500 ETF. We got this bounce off the 200 day. A lot of people have been pointing out. Um, so that's obviously an important level to watch. This 260, 258 level. But what I'm really curious to see is if we do get a bounce, we move up a couple percent to where a lot of that aggressive selling was in the last week or so in this SPY and a lot of individual stocks. How's the market going to react to that? Are we going to see the selling start up again, or are we going to be able to reclaim those levels and take out the highs from March? So that would obviously be the bullish scenario. If the selling starts here, if we get a little bounce and the selling starts and we start coming down to retest this area, it would kind of give it a descending triangle look, which would, if this 258 level breaks, then that would, make me be a little bit more cautious and look for some shorting opportunities potentially. But it's important to keep in mind longer term, this recent moves and volatility kind of gets washed out. Looks like we're still in a long-term uptrend. Here's our recent action. You can see on this monthly chart, it barely stands out. So longer term still looks pretty healthy, but shorter term, depending on how we react here, if we get that bounce, and then especially if we undercut that 200-day 258 level in the SPY, again, I'd look for some more shorting opportunities, or at least be more cautious in the market in general. So speaking of shorting opportunities, here's one, Citigroup. I pointed this out the other week. Kind of has a head and shoulders look to it. Broke through there, just ugly action all week. If it gets back to a retest, if it starts moving up a little bit, that could be a potential short entry. I'm kind of targeting the $62 area for this. There's some support there, and that's a measured move from the pattern around that 62 area. So this is an ugly looking chart, but could potentially be a short opportunity. Honeywell, another short opportunity. Kind of has a descending triangle look to it. Broke below that support 200 days. So this one I'm looking to continue down. Potentially, and you can always put your stop if it gets back in that pattern. Cat, this one's just a wait and see. Similar look. This almost looks like the descending triangle being created just in the Dow Jones index right now. So could it break up? Sure. Could it break down? Sure. Usually, this pattern would indicate a potential breakdown. Sellers get a little bit more anxious each time, and as prices come back, the selling starts a little sooner and sooner. So leading you to believe eventually this 143 area would get broke, but you can't predict. You just have to play what happens. So for right now, this is just watching, but this is a potential tradable pattern next week if it decides to break one way or the other. This is one I actually entered last week. APC has a nice nice consolidation pattern here. Broke out of it, came back to retest, which also coincides with these $59 horizontal support. So I like it as long as that level holds. I think this one looks pretty bullish. So Netflix, this area around 285 was resistance here, broke above it, was support. So came back to retest, and that level held. So that's really bullish action Friday. So I think this one looks pretty healthy as long as that 280-ish level holds. Put in a nice candle Friday. So definitely some potential there for next week. Under Armour, pretty chart. This, in my opinion, this area here around 1625, was a lot of shares traded there. There's support all the way here, resistance here. It's been support. They had that data breach on Friday after the market close, so it's trading down to about 16. But if it can break above that 1675 area, I think this one looks pretty good. It has that look that it could kind of reverse the course here, the longer term trend, and start moving up. So one that I have my eye on, Micron MU. This one kind of filled that gap from March, came down just below it. So if it can kind of reclaim this 53 area, it's obviously in a longer term uptrend. I think this one could make for a nice entry. If the market starts moving down, here's FAS. This is a 3-time leverage financial ETF, and this looks kind of similar to the DXD or a lot of inverse index ETFs. But so we have this level from March. Say it's 1140. We kind of broke above it, so we're kind of consolidating now. these last week kind of just moved up and down, but stayed in a range. If we start breaking up from that consolidation, I think this one might be a nice, shorter term trading opportunity. Perhaps you get a move to that 200-day, which is, 10 to 15% above. So that's something, if the market turns against you, if you're comfortable with it, you don't have to just, sit on your hands. You can, if the risk reward set up in short ETFs or different instruments, you can always trade those and try to make the best of a situation where the market's going against a lot of your positions. So here's WPX Energy, kind of a nice little consolidation coil. Looks like it might be breaking out, solid uptrend. So that's another one that I'm watching. I'd probably like it above this, we'll call it $15 if it can move above there. Looks pretty good. AKAM, this is one I bought that breakout there and a nice trade, but now it's setting up again, just a really kind of orderly consolidation here. It's getting right back to that gap area. So that 70 area could be pretty big support. If it moves, up here above that, 71, 72, I think this could have a nice trading, be a nice trading opportunity for next week. It looks like a nice consolidation off that aggressive up move. So we'll keep our eye on that one. MDU, this one, I'll pull up the weekly chart here. It's kind of breaking above this trend line. Looks really good. It's kind of been basing for a while. Here's the daily chart. I'm looking forward to kind of hold these highs from December, about $28. So we'll see how it reacts to that. It's right about where it closed last week, but I like this one as well. And then Advanced Auto Parts, another just a nice consolidation. Looks really similar to, WPX or APC. So watching for a break there. I'd like to see it get above the 120 area. So those are just a few I have my eye on. I encourage you to check out ttptrading.com. It's myself and CJ Agresta. We're really passionate about what we do. We have live trade alerts and educational material, etc. It's $69 a month for access to both of us. We work really hard in making this helpful to members. So if you're not a member already, please check us out, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And then also, if you celebrate the Easter holiday this weekend, I wish you all the best and have a great Easter. If you celebrate Passover, I hope you have a good holiday as well. So thank you for your time and take care.